All right, welcome to episode 9 of It's Server Time. We have a repeat guest, YEKINDAR, the 23rd ranked player at Flashpoint 2. But actually, though, Flashpoint champion. Congrats, YEKINDAR. Thanks for dropping by here so much.
Let's go. I'm happy to be here.
By the way, you guys, everybody should just notice that YEKINDAR is wearing a chain now. That's what happens when you play Flashpoint. You make the big bucks. So players, take note. Take note of that. I wanted to start, actually, YEKINDAR, though, with asking a couple questions, because I got a couple people from Flashpoint, the talent, who had little questions for you. The first is from Anders here, and he wants to know, and we'll get to everybody's opinions on this, I guess, but Anders wants to know, do you think aliens are reals? And Anders wants to let you know that he does think aliens are real.
Yo, actually, I expect this kind of a question from Anders, because after I saw the video when he was like the how do you say it?
Psychiatrist,
like, yeah. He was like, and then basically about the aliens. Well, I mean, I don't necessarily believe in them or think they're real, but it could be possible, and I just don't care because they're not playing CS and they're not on the server, so.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that article that's floating around with I think it was the Israeli prime minister or something saying that they've been in contact with aliens. Dude, I was waiting to see Anders's tweet about that. I was just waiting, and he did one today, and it was hilarious. So it was worth the wait, honestly.
Yes.
I feel like it's crazier to believe at this point that aliens aren't real than they actually are real, you know?
But the question is, have they been in contact with us? I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that one either.
If they haven't been on the server, YEKINDAR doesn't even care. They're not if they don't frag out, what's the point of even talking to them? Second question is just Hawka. He wanted to know what's the deal with your opening kill discrepancy from different sides, and I think your T side opening kill was really good. Or no, your CT side was really good, but your T side fell off. But you still had the most attempts of anybody in Flashpoint 2 by far.
Okay, so I have a good reasoning behind this. Actually, it's a pretty much like my CT spots are the all of my CT spots across all the maps. There are the spots that always get first contact mostly, right? So there's always an opportunity to get an entry kill, and depending on the enemy, I always can try to get them and win a duel or something. But on T side, on some of the maps, I'm actually playing more a supportive role. And for example, on Inferno, on Inferno as T side, I spent, especially on Flashpoint, I spent a lot of time playing the default where I'm just holding flashes for banana. And qikert and Buster are the ones actually getting aggressive and finding those opening kills. So it depends on the map, depends on the spots, and depends on the default or round that we're running on T side. So it's not always that I have an opportunity, or not always the Jame agrees with my initiative at the start of the round. So.
Okay. Let's get into Flashpoint. Let's hop in, and we're gonna start with the grand finals here. So this was actually ended up being a rematch from what was your guys' winner group match, VP versus OG. You guys won it in 3. You guys lost on Mirage, which was their pick, but then you kind of slammed them on Train. They did come back a little bit on the second half, I'll say, but that felt completely in control for you guys throughout the whole thing. And then Inferno, again, it felt like you guys kind of owned them, but then this got a little bit dicey because they really did start coming back. It was 15-12 at one point. And the first thing I want to ask is when they were starting to come back slowly on Inferno, did it feel like they were going to do it? Was there a pressure? Because there was a round, I think 15-11 or 15-10, where you guys had 5 people at A, and they all went up porch side, and you guys lost. And that was when it was like, oh, the choke might happen. But how did it feel like in your guys' camp?
We tried to neglect that pressure. So I'll tell you like why it came so close in the end. First, we won pistol. We lost second round.
Yeah.
So we were going three bananas. CT SANJI came late rotation because his deal got delayed on B, which he shouldn't have. We actually analyzed like our finals after the finals, so we already know like what we did wrong. So we lost the fourth round, and when you lose the fourth round and nobody of us survived, you have 1,500 to like 1,900 for each players. So we need to double eco to actually get like utility and have a chance in the round. So we can't fully, especially if you want to have nades on the buy round, you can't fully force. So we half bought, but like left $800 first round, stacked A, they didn't go A, but like what helped us actually keep the game mentally in our favor is that all the eco rounds, all the force rounds, we didn't give up like a single easy frag. We always played really passive, let them use all the utility, let them outthink themselves, let them actually play slow and like check all the sides. We were just sitting on A and chilling because we were like, we know that they are under pressure. They're the team that needs to come back, and that helped us mentally control the game. And second reason why it came so close is what was when James got double kill on banana. When they rushed to banana they had shit money. We knew they had shit money, and that was actually my mistake because I was behind sandbags. They double naded me, and I was in the wrong spot behind sandbags. I needed to stand like by close to the far wall, so I don't get killed by double nade because we expected, we knew what's coming. And James especially got the 2 kills, and again we lost the economy. We needed again to like play double eco. If I'm not mistaken, we played 4 ecos that CT half, even though it wasn't a full half. So that's just how it was. And the round with 5A, it was just unlucky. If I won the duel with Apps against NBK, we would have won that round and won the game pretty fast.
Yeah, I remember you were the first kill on that round.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about the vetoes going into the final because like you played 2 of the same maps, but you didn't have Dust 2 in there as a decider, and then you guys sort of changed your pick to Train instead of Inferno. Can you touch a bit on like what your process was going into that?
Well, I mean, as I said previously on like Flashpoint interviews, like if I'm not mistaken, Maui, you asked me about when we picked Vertigo against Big, that if we are like spicing up the map pool and not picking only Dust 2 and Inferno, right? So against OG, we know that all of our maps are strong, and we know that their Dust 2 is strong, their Inferno is strong. So it's really stupid to pick up the pick into those 2 maps because it's gonna be a third map decider either way, right? One of the maps, and we knew that the weakest map that they actually play is Train, because I don't know, we just watched how they play Train, and we knew that they couldn't they were their style of play on CT side is not gonna work against us. So they needed to change it up, but we know that they probably didn't expect Train, or maybe expected it but didn't like fully commit to getting ready for Train,
Yeah, I'll take a stab at it because I don't know if you want to reveal your own game plan or anything, but I feel like on Train, you guys always got anytime a couple things. Like, one, you guys are crazy at slowing rounds down, and 2, when you came out with the E-Box and Sandwich Smoke every time and just took duels out there, you were finding entry frags so consistently because they always played behind your guys' smokes. Like, I feel like that's so you guys kind of ran what Fnatic do with Brolin a lot, where you guys could actually kind of run the same thing, but Brolin runs a more kind of complex route than you. You kind of just swing right a lot of the time. Brolin kind of goes in and out of the trains a lot of the time. Sometimes Golden does it as well. And OG have this problem where I feel like they just don't take initiative on CT side on Train. Yeah,
that's the point actually, because if, for example, like to play against our T side, you need to play as we play on CT.
Yeah.
We always take sandwich control. We always are checking the sandwich helix smoke, always trying to find the information there. If somebody is out, somebody is not out. Teams like Fnatic and OG, they have both similar playstyle on CT side, because a lot of the times one of the guys, for example, Brolin or OG side ISO, right? They were running in Pop Dog, like in ladder as first spawn, like all the time. But the second guy that they have on CT side, for example, it was Crims and NBK. Yeah, they're staying behind the smokes and not checking anything, and they're not doing the like. I knew that I had so many possibilities, like running around there, and as well because they're a really Mad Lions actually shut us down because they didn't care about the utility. They threw 5 Molotovs, 4 Molotovs, 3 Molotovs, like so we couldn't go out, right, with those smokes, and they just didn't care. And then they stacked B and won the round. Like,
yeah.
But Fnatic and OG aren't those kind of teams that are gonna waste utility. You know, in their heads, they're wasting utility if they throw like this. But if they're not doing the control plays, they need to waste utility. Otherwise, they're gonna lose the round because of it. So that's mostly.
Yeah, on old C9 when we would play train, like in our pregame, like for our prep for train, we would kind of look at like what the best way to do that, like the best way to like go out of team main was, you know, depending on how the CTs watch it, you know, like sometimes opping from like back 6 or whatever, or you know, sometimes you just swing out right, like you do a lot. And so like we'd always prep like to find out like what the best route against a certain team was. And by far, like we would always have success. Like that shit's so hard to stop on train when you're just running outside and teams aren't like actively like throwing like 5 HEs at you and you know like 4 mollies at you at the start of the round that like actively deterring you from doing it. And like when teams would just sit back and just kind of do nothing, like we would just own them. We just get like 10 T side rounds on train. But
yeah,
when teams would like try to pressure us or like try to go through the smokes or like just constantly try to fight us actually, and you know like deter us from like doing it and you know try to do something else. That's kind of when our T sides would get shut down.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're allowing T side to control the game, basically.
I notice you, for example, I feel like there's for every team, and not every team actually, but for a lot of teams, there has to be a guy that's like you, where basically if they throw a sandwich smoke, you almost throw your own smoke like left side, what's the train called? What color is it? Blue train. Left blue train towards T-Con, and so you can kind of isolate the angles a little bit.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people even just throw like a sandwich smoke that's like deeper, almost like between blue and red train, but like whereas the ones the T's throw,
So can they go as in sandwich and they're not afraid of T-man? Yeah.
It actually it just makes like a smoke sandwich and you just hide out in the middle of it. Yeah. Okay, I wanted to talk about how. Okay, so you got a lot of entries. I feel like your T side, everything worked for you guys, but I actually wanted to ask you a question about qikert because I feel like he's someone I highlighted in the pregame, and then he showed up in the exact way that I felt like he would. Where if your guys' opening plan fails on train, which is usually involving you, qikert always is like your bailout guy, whether he's at Pop Dog or at Boxhall. Like what makes him so good at this? Because I feel like in the mid round, like doesn't even matter. It was literally a 2v5 with him and SANJI, and you guys beat OG. Like how does qikert do this shit? How does he get away with this?
Well, of course, he's a really great player. That's the first part, and the second part is we played a hell a lot of officials. Not officials, practice matches, scrims, especially on train, for example. And when there's so many situations like this, for example, qikert didn't do the play on B when I died on A, and I say like 4A or something, for example. After we talk about it, we analyze it. If it's good for qikert to go out, if it's in which situations he needs to do it, in which situations he can afford to do it. So it's just matter of overall practice on that map and just individual skill as well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of different situations that he bails you guys out of. This just came in. I'll save it to the end of OG discussion. Because we got a question from Bardolph, because I asked the other Flashpoint talent something. But I want to just wrap up this OG topic. I feel like on Mirage, though, it just didn't look that good for you guys. You guys should have expected them to pick that, right?
Yeah, we know they're gonna pick a Mirage, but I thought they're gonna play against my style of play that I played last time against them.
Yeah.
But the 2 buy rounds that we won, I was actually playing the style that I played before against them, and I feel like that they didn't do anything against it. And if I just, I was like mind gaming. I was thinking like, okay, they're gonna play against me. I'm just gonna beat like in ladder room third B. I'm gonna play close pit with qikert, and I'm not gonna show up in mid like any of the round. But I feel like they were just not. They just didn't care, and they thought like, oh, it just was one game or whatever. But okay, next time,
Yeah.
we'll see.
So
But I mean,
you
there was
like out countered yourself more than they countered you. You feel like.
Yeah, and like I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous as well on the first map because first final, like this kind of a final, and my game wasn't like that crisp and good as it should be, and just didn't feel confident at first half. At second half, it was pretty fine. I started feeling the game and I started getting confidence. But yeah, mostly just some unlucky timings and just my individual poor performance. Because a lot of space on Mirage is getting from the connector player on CT side, and if your connector player doesn't deliver, it's really hard to play a CT side.
Yeah. One last question about the OG one then. Was there anybody in the server that you really felt their presence? I feel like Valde was the guy we were hyping up all tournament, and he was playing really well, but he didn't do as well in the tournament. I feel like it was kind of Montu really showed up,
In the
especially
finals, you mean?
Yeah, in the finals again
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you guys.
I'll tell you why. We picked Train.
Yeah.
Valde playing B on Train. It's the problem for Valde is I feel like he's an insane player, actually insane player. Like he's really good, especially when we first lost against him. Like he on the group stage, I was hella feeling like Valde playing against me on Inferno. We played on the Stu, right, and the Mirage. I was feeling that we were playing against Valde, but on Inferno, oh, I mean Train B side, it's really hard to deliver something like if you want to like. So he was capable of winning rounds like alone, right? Because he's in such a great form now, and he plays really good. But on Train, it's really hard. You can't do those.
Yeah, holding Train inner like
solo.
consistently is like pretty much impossible. Like you're not, especially alone. Like you're not gonna be able to hold it every time. It's just that's too many angles. There's too many things to clear. Like
that's the point. For example, as you Maui mentioned, like I was going out on the sandwich helix smoke. Mantu is not allowed. Like I was showing my presence there. Mantu doesn't know how much players because they don't have info, and he's not allowed to rotate to B. And then there's Valde alone against 4 people. And how do like I mean 1 round he actually killed 4 like last rounds or something.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But like it's really hard to deliver at that point. And Inferno, I believe it was just the mental game already after Train.
Yeah, just being out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It felt like that.
Okay. That's I think that is okay. I think that's the biggest flaw with OG's game is that Valde is their best player, like flat out, and he plays all the spots that are just like long A dust 2, ramp on nuke, B on Train. He's the B anchor on Inferno, which isn't that bad, but like but he does play. I think he plays connector on Mirage though.
Yeah.
So that's like. That feels like one of their best maps because he gets to actually play a spot where he's super involved. But
yeah, he's actually putting a lot of impact as well on that map. He's constantly pushing under, constantly like playing aggressive mid and helping out his team on other maps. He just doesn't have an opportunity to do that as much.
Yeah,
it's similar to 100 Thieves like a few months ago when JKS was kind of like hard carrying. and I kind of saw 100 Thieves moving like JKS away from ramp on nuke more to like playing like outside for a bit, like trying to get him more involved and have some more impact.
I feel like it's also similar to just mouse sports because they play Rops inner on train as well.
Yeah,
it's just like sometimes Rops is really effective as an inner player though. Like the way that they control their aggression inside is just it's just like they're very good at utilizing his aggression with the right timings and on the right rounds, whereas I feel like OG just doesn't do the same thing with Valde. Like they don't get as aggressive inner, and they don't like play off of him as well. But even then, like Rops and Valde are just way too good to be playing the anchor site like B, I feel like.
Yeah. And I mean, Rops is actually getting more freedom at the moment, it seems like, because like after Bemis joined, Bemis actually can like, for example, I saw a lot of so for example, Rops now plays connector on Mirage. That's fucking awesome for him, right? So on Inferno, Bemis can actually replace Rops on pit if Rops wants to do something aggressive on mid, on brackets, right, on CT side. So he gets a lot of space because the team actually feels that for me, Rops is like top 5 player at least this year. He's really good mechanically. Like I'm watching a lot of his demos, like strafes and all shit. He's really good, and he just the problem is only bad role for him I see is I'm not sure where he plays Nuke because we don't play Nuke and I didn't watch a single game of Nuke. But
he still plays ramp.
Ramp and inner on train. I feel like those two spots are a bit locking him down in terms of his impact in the game.
Yeah, Valde at ramp is like kind of weird because I don't know if I'd want anybody else there because he literally got 2 kills every single gun round. I saw he was challenged against like everybody he's played at Flashpoint and recent tournaments too. So it's like if you can always get 2 at ramp, that is just insane value. But
and survive as well.
Yeah, that it was insane. It was just crazy watching him play that.
I think more recently teams kind of like treat the ramp player like as a lot more of a rotator. At least with some teams that I see.
He would go secret sometimes.
Yeah, it depends on the style of the defense.
Yeah,
even though I don't play Nuke, I know some stuff about it.
Yeah,
it's like sometimes like you'll just let the ramp guy go secret, or like he'll just leave ramp and like help CT and like they do CT smokes and stuff. So with a lot of players, it's like lenient. Some players still just kind of stay there the entire round, which I feel is just kind of a waste.
I agree.
Okay, let's move off the finals and get into Bardolph's question. So Bardolph wanted to know, when the big lands are back, do you think you'll be able to perform the same in front of huge crowds on huge stages?
Well, I mean, I haven't been like to big lands or something, but I've been to a lot of like lands. And for example, DreamHack Delhi, like the Ikebanja Luka, I played a lot of Baltic lands. I played Russian lands. I played. I was in Thailand, in Bangkok for the Toyota, right? For me, I always perform on LAN more than online, because for me it's a bit hard getting the thoughtfulness when you're like the focus that you get on LAN because of the environment and the surroundings, and you're in the game fully focused. On home, you're treating it like a practice, and you don't feel the necessary attention from yourself to the game, and I believe that obviously, like Avangar already showed that they're fucking amazing on LAN, obviously, and I believe that I'm as well as a lot stronger on LAN. So I believe we could show some great results if LAN.
Do you think your style of play applies better on LAN? Because I know that Art has said before that he finds being like super aggressive easier on LAN because it tends like teams either tend to have a little bit more hectic comms just based on the pressure, or like if you're in a crowd, there's a lot more noise, so you can make some aggressive plays that necessarily won't get heard by other teams.
Yeah, it's actually like golden talked about this in the HLTV confirmed. If I'm not sure if somebody saw, he was talking about like the meta change of Fnatic when the online era started, right? So he was talking about that their playstyle of the game at the start wasn't working because people now sit home, they hear every stuff you do, their comms are fucking perfect because they hear every flashbang, every step you do across the map, right? On lands, you just run. If you rewatch like big lands, you see there was a round. I'm not sure. It was French team against someone on Dust 2. They were running like from T spawn to top mid, Xbox smoke with Tech 9s, running all the way short. Nobody hears the shit, and they're just dropping CT and winning the round. Like first 15 seconds of the round, first 15 seconds they're just doing it, and it's working because of the crowd. People don't hear, they don't, the miscoms, as you said. It's and the aggressive plays are even more, how do you say it, not risky, you know. Not impactful. Like, I mean, obviously impactful. Aggressive plays are impactful in any meta of the game, in online or in LAN. But I mean, they're not as risky because you're not risking the like. On online, people are focused on that, and on LAN they can lose focus. They can be nervous. They can be pressured. They can be a lot of.
The other team doesn't get as much info out of it.
Yeah.
Even if they might hear a step, they might not even calm that. It's just too much going on. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna, to answer for you for James's question a little bit, I was gonna say the fact that a Vanguard's been to a major finals at this point, I feel like that's just like, even and I know you've been to LANs, but even if you weren't experienced at LANs, it's like, okay, you have 4 guys that have been to the last major finals, so it's like they already are super battle tested in that regard. So
yeah,
and the fact, yeah,
they won like not epicenter, blast or something.
Blast, yeah.
Blast, they won, yeah. So like,
yeah,
major finals, winning blast, all lands. It's clearly experienced players.
yeah. All right, let's move to actually the game against Fnatic then. This one was crazy. This was probably one of the Overpass for me personally was probably one of my favorite maps of the entire tournament because that was just such a brutal comeback that you guys pulled off. You guys lost your map pick of Vertigo. They were up, like, was it? Oh god, what was the score? Maybe 13-8.
13-7.
13-7. Okay, 13-7, and then you won yeah, and then you guys won 16-14. That one was just nuts. You played really well in that one also. And then you guys won Train, and you guys just slapped them across the face on Train. But I want to talk about, I will start with Vertigo. We'll start with Vertigo there because why do you think that didn't work out for you guys?
Well, I mean, Vertigo was mostly a test pick against Big and Fnatic. We
okay.
We knew that, like, I mean, we knew that Fnatic, like, it was hard to pick something against Fnatic because they don't play.
I feel like that happens so much. You just don't know what to pick, and like you just like this happens with my team too. We just end up picking Vertigo, and like half the time it doesn't fucking work out. But there was no other pick.
And there's no better time to test a pick than a $1 million tournament upper bracket final.
It is upper bracket at least.
But we actually got so much like improvement on Vertigo because of the two lost maps against Big and Fnatic. We already talked about it. We already analyzed it. It's gonna be a fresh new map. We're gonna just steamroll. But like, I mean, the thought process against Fnatic, right? Why we picked Vertigo. They started playing Vertigo after they stopped playing Nuke, right? But they played Nuke, and we're not allowed to leave Nuke because they're gonna pick Nuke into us because we didn't play Nuke a single time. While they've at least played it like half a year ago, right? So that was the problem. So they banned the Stu. We wanted to pick the Stu if they didn't ban it. And then we only saw the opportunity to pick Vertigo because we felt like they're not so strong on Vertigo, but their style is actually pretty good for that map, ST side especially, right? So like one goes there, one goes there, one goes there, and every map like just slowly crawling into the enemy team. And basically, I believe we lost. We won pistol on CT side and we lost second round again, and that's why.
I think my main thing for you guys was just like you guys didn't have a very good CT side. You guys went 3-8 on the CT side, and I kind of. Like,
I'm telling you, we lost the second round after pistol, and then
I guess
you have
that does mess up a lot.
1,600 money, and you can't do anything. You should be double ecoing, and it's already 3 rounds you're giving up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And yeah, I mean, fuck Vertigo.
Okay, let's get to the exciting part. Okay, so when it was 13-7 against Fnatic on Overpass, you guys had pretty much like a force buy, like a half buy, basically.
Yeah.
I think Sanji had a gun, and I think the rest of you guys were all on pistols.
I had tech, Sanji had a Galil, yeah, and we.
Yeah. Okay, so basically Galil and 4 pistols, and you guys even lost the first pick on that one. I think it was JW got a kill or Brolin got a kill at long, and you guys just swarmed the bomb site and literally just killed everybody. And I feel like you had no reason to win that round, but maybe if I watch it back, maybe you guys had a flash or something like that that enabled it. It was
we had we had double flash.
Okay, you guys had flash.
So there was an idea behind that round, obviously, and when we were pushing a site, that flash actually won us the round because I don't remember which player, but you know the truck on the right side where the CT stairs are.
Yeah.
And there's the corner where you hide and you see like default entrance, and that double flash engaged Sanji to enter the site, and that guy was full blind. Long was full blind, and I actually killed one guy on one way on default before that. So both of the players full blind. Sanji getting one, trading second one on long, and it's impossible retake for them. And the problem that I felt on overpass for them was that they didn't treat their economy. They lost so many guns that they needed to save, and that's why they had no pressure in the rounds that they could have been having the pressure and could be saving money for full utility.
Okay. I was going to bring this up later, but I'll just do it now because I feel like it's an interesting topic and there's not too much more to say about Fnatic because you guys just steamroll them on train. Is that I feel like you guys are legitimately the best with money in the game right now. I feel like probably like Astralis or something like that is really good with their econ also. But right now, you guys literally always save as many guns as you can. And like, I mean, people memed about it before how Jame used to save all the time, but I think you guys took that concept to another level in terms of like, holy crap, like you guys really worry about like having 3 live all the time. You know, if you don't think you can retake that bomb site, you just won't do it at all. And I feel like when it got down to it on, especially even in the grand finals, every time you guys saved, you guys pretty much like full saved to the point where you spent just enough. Like it's like everybody just knew how much they're supposed to spend. And I feel like that's something where a lot of pro teams, if you watch this one guy buys like a deagle and armor when he could have just bought like a P250 and a smoke and half armor, and it would have saved that extra money for an extra flashbang or something like that.
What do you mean? Is it gonna win the round with that?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what we all have been watching for literally like 6 years of watching this game now. That there's always some player or players on teams that just do it every time, and I feel like that's something you guys have just really keyed in on and focused on. Is that, I mean, I don't think this should be so much of a secret, but like, do you feel like you guys have unlocked something with this? Because it's just so it's refreshing as an analyst to watch it and see a team just like care that much about it.
I mean, you said the right word, focused. So we actually spend a lot of time in practice focusing on that aspect of the game, of the economy, of the utility usage, of the savings and not savings, and many of that things, right? And Dastan is actually, his like mindset is that guys, don't worry, you can stack 4A. If they go B, just save, you have another chance at the next round. It's like this kind of mindset and this kind of a voice that always reminds you of this. It just helps you stay fully focused and not give up stupid like economy like that's, and etc.
To me, it feels almost like the next evolution of how Navi used to play, like with the number of bomb site stacks that Zeus used to call just out of nowhere. Except you guys are a lot better at like actually saving after that. And also in general, like your mid rounds and the way you play overall is like another evolution of it. But the bomb site stacks that you call and you guys are more willing to save just allows you to just keep trying again at rounds and trying new ideas like over and over. And I think keeping up that sort of pressure is something that not enough teams are doing.
Yeah. So what I want to say is, like, from my perspective, when I wasn't in Virtus.pro, so I was playing in Pro 100. We were playing against Virtus.pro in that was Rio ESL Road to Rio. Yeah, like RMR tournament. We won Virtus.pro 2-0, but it's always so hard to play. You always feel pressure. There's no these only 5 USPs rounds. There's always either, like, people could meme as much as they want about Jame, but they don't understand how hard it is to play against. They have 4 pistols, but they saved an op, and you can't go for the peaks that you could be going when they have 5 pistols, right? And constant pressure. You can't take jumps somewhere. For example, on overpass, you gave up banana control, for example, yeah, as CT side, and you want to check banana, but what if James is holding it with the op, right? And like 4 pistols are crawling toilets. James gets an entry, 4 pistols run in, take your gun, trade, and they win the round because of it. It's like it's actually next level. Not many teams use this, and not many teams understand the value of the constant mental pressure on the enemy.
I feel like the only team who does it like somewhat equally would be Astralis, because they have device safe as op a lot, and the number of opening picks he gets on rounds like that is it's equivalent, because he'll get an opening pick, you'll have like Dupree go and get the AK or the M4 that got dropped or something, and then you have 2 guns and it just builds from there, right? So having that sort of like that big of an impact weapon still on the board, even on full USP rounds like that, is just, it's always going to give you an inherent advantage in the way you're forcing the other team to play.
We actually as well learn a lot from Astralis. So like for us, they're still top 1 team in terms of many things, like things that other teams don't have. Like in terms of like teams can win against Astralis like with raw aim or something, right? Like winning like duels all the time, but like the way that Astralis play in the distance, it's a lot better than the team that is focusing on their individual skill. For example, I heard Golden on like the confirmed episode as well, talking that they were focusing on their individual skill on the online era and playing a lot around that individual skill. But in the long run, I don't feel that it's gonna give you the results you want to have.
That pained me so much to hear
and Astralis is just next level with this.
But I feel like it's fine, like maybe in Fnatic's case, because I feel like they do know how to play like on LAN, like when it comes back to it. Like they had to switch their style like to something that works better online, because it obviously wasn't working at first. In terms of just trying to play the normal stuff, but
he said he wants for online CS, he wants people to improve on their individual skill, which made me so like, they've been saying that for months now, that's kind of their game plan to get better in the online era is to focus on individual skill. I feel like that in itself is just so.
Yeah, I don't know what that means exactly.
Yeah,
it depends like what that means exactly and like how they actually like go about that. But like in terms of like how they're actually focusing on that, but if they're actually focusing on it on a way that like is like opening up more opportunities for individuals or something, or more freedom like in the game, then I think that's pretty valid, especially in the online era. But yeah, it would just have to be like have to know like specifically what they mean by that, rather than just we're just focusing on our skill.
We're just DMing more.
We're DMing 3 hours a day.
I will say that it worked for JW. Whatever the hell he did for this tournament was crazy. Like,
dude, seeing JW get 34 frags at a map was amazing.
And lose.
Against OG, but that round against Forsberg that they lost. That was the like key round.
OG won some pivotal force buys in a lot of their series.
They won against us as well. I remember one on train they won against us
Yeah.
on CT side. So imagine if we like converted that force buy into a win for us, yeah, it would be like 14-1.
Yeah.
Half.
Yeah,
Dude,
I think
I've had like the same op for 4 years, which is, and it's called Be the JW You Want to Be, just because seeing, you know, prime JW in 2015, 2016, just running around with the op, just doing whatever he wants and just like peeking everything was just my favorite thing to watch.
Yeah. I'd be curious to hear though, from your perspective, from everybody's perspective, really. Do you guys think that so Fnatic came in third at this tournament and they lost to OG? Do you guys feel like these teams rematch each other a lot? Like, I don't know what you guys caught of it, but did that feel like the Fnatic we were supposed to see, or do you guys think? I mean, OG won, and so I think they deserve it in that respect. But like, the second map of Overpass was 16-5, and it just felt like Fnatic never even were playing the game. Like,
But
that just happens though.
I mean, it looks like that after Fnatic gave up our comeback on 13-7 that we played against them on Overpass, it just hit them in the head. You know, like I'm not. How to say it? Yeah, just stuck in their head a bit, and especially after they lost that Mirage on OG after against
Yeah,
OG.
they lost
The
the comeback
second-
there too.
Yeah, the second half, the second map is just it's devastating to play because of if you don't mentally reset, which is really hard sometimes, especially when I don't know you're tired of playing or something. It's just
Yeah.
overwhelming at some point.
Yeah. I will give credit to OG in that matchup because they really shut down Flusha at B with a lot of different tactics. I did see one time where I think he 100% should have killed like NBK who swung out of connector and killed him, and I was like, okay, Flusha, you were ready for that, but you still missed the shot. But other than that, they did throw some good stuff at him. So I think I would say it's deserved, but yeah, I think everybody in the Flashpoint camp is always just like, is this going to be the time? Is Fnatic going to play it 100% throughout the whole tournament? And then they just can't. They just don't.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like if they don't
Yeah.
hit their like 90 100% region, then they just start struggling like very fast, cuz if
Yeah.
Crims isn't one of their top 2 players in a server, I feel like they lose the consistency that they usually have, and they
Yeah.
didn't have him in these last 2 series that they played.
That's the problem with their like individual style, because they don't have things to hold on to in their rounds, and they don't have these. Sometimes you just need those robotic calls that you just know from the
That-
start to finish to actually like close it out. You know.
That's what I've been saying for this entire online era, that I feel like the best teams always have like more set plays. I feel like at the beginning of the online era, G2 was the best team because they were anti-stratting the fuck out of everybody and they had so many set pieces. Then it became Big was like the best team for a while because they just literally they did the same thing. They just anti-stratted everybody and had so many set plays that were just like based off of game plans where they found weaknesses in the opponent's whatever their structure. And then now it feels like you guys are looking really sharp because I would say you guys have a decent amount of set plays and like always, but you always carve out a win condition for yourselves in a round, and you also, because you put so much pressure on the opposing teams, it's almost like they are surely going to crack, and also you are never going to choke. It's like, I mean, I don't want to jinx you guys in the future, but I feel like you guys are just never going to choke a lead when you have like a 15-8 because you will literally give you guys will spend the perfect amount of money to make sure that you will put pressure on the opponents, but also you will have enough money for the gun round to do anything you want to do. So you don't have to like limit yourself or just play like I'm never gonna see you guys up 15 to 9, and then like 3 rounds later I'm gonna see half armor M4s and 1 smoke each. Like you guys will never fucking do that ever.
Yeah, but it all came out of like one in September we lost a crazy comeback against Gambit on those 2
Okay.
like online tournaments, so we were up 12-3 T side those 2.
Uh-huh.
then it was 14-5, if I'm not mistaken, and we lost 16-14.
Okay, I didn't catch that. I watched you guys during the qualifier and then throughout this whole tournament, and that's the results I'm going off of. Like when I watch those, that's where I was like, okay, you guys really know how to close out games. But I guess that one I didn't see. So,
but I mean, going back to what you said earlier too, it's like when you have something like James Op always like always a factor in most of these rounds, then you're going to minimize the number of set plays that teams that do have a strat book can do. Like you're going to inherently just minimize the sort of free round plays that some teams make against pistols, and that pressure is just it gives you an advantage regardless.
All right, let's move to you guys' next series. VP Big. This is the one where I didn't bet on you guys. It's the one time I didn't bet on you guys. I thought Big Style was like, I thought they were just gonna trade everything out, like, and it was gonna be really snappy and everything. But you guys still pulled it off. And then this was another one. So you talked about the Vertigo pick. You won on their Mirage because you just dominated them on CT side, and then you guys won the decider on Overpass. I feel like you guys were always going to be favored on Overpass. It was the first two maps that were a little bit more ropey for me. I guess what's your feelings about playing against Big right now? Does this feel like the same Big that people were looking at and were saying was the best team in the world 5 months ago?
Well, I mean, they're really good individual players, but I think they just are tired now. It just looks a bit.
Yeah, like Tapson especially has kind of, especially his individual form, has kind of fallen in like the past few months, and I think that's probably partly because there's so many matches in the IGL, like that. It must be hard just to like constantly keep that up.
Yeah, like for us, for example, we only play September, October, November, December.
You guys are basically a 3-month-old team, or 3.5, 4 month.
Like we play for 4 months. Big are playing all this year, all those tournaments, all those like wins, losses, and it's just when you don't have a great like time to actually like focus on practice and take a chill from officials, and it's really hard to stay fully focused on the match that actually matters. And yeah, I just think they need a break at the moment, and they will show good results again in 21 after the break.
Yeah. You know, Big is the only team to lift a trophy in front of a crowd this year, so I was there.
DreamHack Open.
I was there.
Leipzig.
Little did I know that that was the only time I was going to see that this year.
That's kind of disappointing, but at least you were there for it.
Navi too. Oh no, not.
Wait, wasn't DreamHack Open Anaheim this year?
Oh yeah, there was Anaheim. That's right. SANJI was the other team.
Yes, I watched that. I was there for that one.
Who are still around.
Note and I were there for that.
Yes.
Yep. All right. I think another. Okay, we'll just go on this briefly. The Mad Lion series was against the train one. Was always going to be. That's always going to be etched in our brains. Refresh at 15-13, pushing Ivy in a 5v3, SANJI killing him, and then SANJI getting a 4K to basically get you guys over the hump and just like take you guys the distance. I just want to know what was going on in your guys' camp for that. Like what was that about?
Well, we fully believed till the end. Actually, like on this tournament, we didn't give up on a single map. We even when we were down like heavily, we just didn't give up a single time because we play the mad game. We know that we have the percentages of winning the rounds if we play our like chess pieces correctly, right? And I think so. Mad Lions actually did really good prep against us, like fucking amazing prep.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. The amount of times they 3-stack B was insane.
You could see it actually on Overpass when they double naded Buster and SANJI on pistol round. We already know that they prepped for us, and on train. Yeah, I think two key rounds on train was that first buy round to T side, We went 3 upper. We faked A. We went 3 upper, and they were 3 B. But I managed to go upper kill on top of the lower train. Buster instantly trades middle of site and drops down. Then he sees third guy's trading him, and then qikert actually gets the duel against him, and we win that important round, which leads Mad Lions to eco, and then we get the necessary rounds as T side. That's one of the key rounds. So we went towards 3B, towards stack, but we won the round.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
The other key round is obviously the 5 versus 3 that they have advantage. I think it was a refresh mistake because I would like Ivy is the most useless spot to push on on the train in that situation, especially when you see the nickname SANJI alive. So like I just I don't know. I feel like I could have done the same mistake somehow because of my aggressive style of play. I do a lot of like pushes 5 versus 3 or 5 versus 4 for the info plays, and sometimes I die. Okay, but like
it's just so weird to choose Ivy in a 5v3. Like,
yeah, I just think that we got
He wanted
lucky.
to just end the game or something. I think he just wanted to clear his spot and then just rotate. I think.
Yeah, I think it's just it was just a mistake from his side, and that mistake actually got us the win. But
he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna clear Ivy real quick. Surely they aren't here."
But imagine how could everything change if Mad Lions take that win.
Yeah, then you guys would have had to go through the lower bracket. Oh my god, I actually can't even imagine that. I would have. Oh my god. Okay, I want to talk about the prep that Mad Lions did briefly then against you too, because you reminded me how they 3-stack B, I think 3 times, and I looked at the demo a little bit closer. And I feel like they had some tell on you guys. Like they weren't pushing into T-Con, they weren't pushing into ladder, pushing Ivy or anything like that.
Yeah,
like,
they were just
they just saw.
Have, yeah,
they just looked and then they were just stacked 3B. So do you guys know
they knew our tempo?
Yeah, they knew your pacing and your tells. Like
that was the thing. We actually like after that Mad Lions game, we spent like 3 hours on that train. We upgraded it. We know that now it's really hard to tell like what is happening, and it's just I mean props to Mad Lions. That was fucking amazing prep, but like thanks to them, we upgraded our train so heavily that got us the win against OG, Fnatic, like 2 most important games on train.
Those games weren't even close. Like you literally ascended on train after that. Yeah.
Ascended.
Yeah.
Like people actually thought that we had a higher win rate on train, but people thought the train is not our like strongest map. We didn't think so as well. But after the Mad Lions game and after the Mad Lions game analysis that we put in work, our train just got a level.
The thing with train T size is that like even if some teams like they throw like the same maze and stuff outside to like avoid tells, like a lot of teams they might not even like realize it at the time, but like they'll have like an obvious tempo like in terms of when they want to actually go outside and the timings for their timings for
that's
enter.
what we had against Mad Lions.
It's just sometimes like especially if you don't catch that yourself, like it will take a team like kind of just abusing that for
and then after that team you only learn.
Yeah, and then you realize like okay, we need to change up our timings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's part of the reason why the old MIBR lineup with Fallen like ran into so many issues. Like so many teams started understanding the tempo. They'd played against him for so long that they knew sort of the pacing that he had in servers, and then you went to like re-aggress positions and
because like against old Genji, on train, like on their CT side, like we had like some obvious tells, right? Where like we knew if Daps smoked at the beginning, like they were playing 2 inner, and like if Daps moved back and like smoked the lower ramp, like from like back pop, we knew they were playing. We knew Daps was alone playing retake. But also like on their T side, something that like I don't even think Daps realized he was doing was like we knew that like whenever Genji like mollied upper on like their defaults and stuff, they never ended upper after that. So like we always knew like if we saw like a molly upper, we didn't have to like worry about inner, like most likely like 95% chance you're going outside. And like apparently like that wasn't even like a thing that like Daps was like intentionally doing. It probably was just more like Kusta or Bented would call like, okay, I'm mollied upper, and then Daps is like, yeah, we should probably end outside in his mind, and then like, he would just do that every time.
It's just players have habits
Mhm.
that they do, and by those habits you can tell. But that's if you like really go into the analysis of the enemy
Yeah,
team.
you have to. It's like really for that shit.
Yeah, I think Peacemaker does that because
Yeah, he
when
does, yeah.
when I watched
I
Mad
think
Lions play,
Peacemaker is calling for Mad Lions, man.
is he just like straight up calling for them? Because
I don't know. It's I don't know what's inside there, but it felt like.
okay, I'll say
I think
this.
Hooksy's a good IGL too. From playing Copenhagen Flames in the past, I felt like having that combined with Peacemaker, who has a lot of experience, that adds a lot to an IGL.
Dude,
When you go from Copenhagen Flames to Mad Lions and play for like a good coach like Peacemaker, that
yeah,
completely changes your perspective on the game and like anti-strategy and stuff. That really helps.
Hooksy might be good at calling, but his individual performances let me down a lot when I watched that team. Like,
You can't have everything, okay?
I know. I just you can't.
Give him some time.
Yeah, but I just, for me, I don't like how Hooksy puts himself in the blame F spots all the time. It's just like, until Hooksy upgrades his skill or his game sense immensely, or his fragging power or something.
You know what's gonna happen is like the next
Yeah.
time Mad Lions plays Complexity now is like Hooksy's gonna drop like 28 kills while Blame F has like 14 or something.
Hooksy's just super inconsistent from my
Just
perspective.
one of those random games.
Like, he has so many games where he just goes like 6-20, like legitimately just really bad score lines. He has the occasional game where he'll go like 31 kills or something, but then like it'll just be a sea of red, and then suddenly he pops off one day.
Do you guys ever go into a game like specifically like maybe you're not like targeting one player for instance, but like you guys all agree that like one player's like really bad or something, and you're like, yeah, this guy's like bad, we don't have to really worry about him or whatever. And then like you're playing them and that guy's just like popping off and everyone's just like kind of like low key mad that this guy's just like owning you.
No, but we actually wait, I'm gonna even check my matches. We trash talk some. I mean, we trash talked one player, and then he fucking destroyed us, and then we stopped. We stopped.
I just liked how midway through you asking that question, Mix, there was just a smile that came up on YEKINDAR's face.
He knew exactly what it
Our
was.
team in the past thought like Grat wasn't like a great opera, like the best player, but like we would say he was inconsistent. He's like, yeah, this guy's not that good. But every time he would play us, this guy would just destroy us. He would just hard carry. And I was like, and I remember one time after he destroyed us, I put in our group chat, no more shit talking Gratisfaction if you're just gonna own us every time.
Who was it? You gotta tell us who it was.
I think it was Genji, but you choose which player. I'm not gonna tell.
I can't believe you shit talked Exist that badly. No, wait. If it's someone that did well, it has to be Kriaz then, because you would probably respect the other three.
No, I respect Kriaz, man. He's my FPL friend.
Wow, automatic.
Wait, let's not start. Let's not do it like this.
No. Kusa didn't do that well, so it couldn't be Kusa.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe, I mean, well, if you trash talk, I feel like you're saying it as if this person did well against you after you trash talked them, so it had to be automatic because he destroyed you guys on train, and then he didn't do much else after that. So
yeah, but we were mostly trash talking, like you know, like for our mental state.
It's to hype yourselves up. Yeah,
dude, everyone trash talks every other team they play. It's like,
it's like
anyone that says they don't is
offense,
fucking lying.
Like no offense, actually, to like people like it's the heat of the moment.
Yeah, it's like obviously you're not gonna be like, yeah, this team is sick.
Dude,
like, once you talk some people.
Once you go to a LAN, like you'll hear it in the audience, like just especially if it's a local LAN, just people will say shit to other people or to their teammates, like these guys fucking suck or whatever, and it's just like you just need to do it. It's just it's part of just getting your mental good. Like it's easier to say that than like, you guys, we're really good at the game. We'll do better next. Like, what?
That's what I miss most about LANs is that like Flashpoint had just started bringing back like the whole teams facing each other during matches thing in Flashpoint 1, and that was like I was so happy the tournament organizer had done that again because holy shit, it's so missing from matches. Yeah, like even in LAN play that was happening before COVID, like the fact that more tournament organizers weren't going back to that setup is just. It's a shame because
oh my god,
that is what really makes the matches a lot of
content and
dude, that's what made Smooya like the idol of our Flashpoint 1, where basically we just wanted him to go far because we had all those clips that were like him just talking shit to every team at that when it was in the LAN environment. It was so good.
It's just like in Philadelphia, like all the teams are gonna shit talk each other no matter what. It's what makes it so much fun to be there and like watch.
I know, and then everybody just hangs out after, so everybody knows it's not personal. Yeah.
Can you guys believe that you guys even got Guardian shit talking on LAN? That's a fucking accomplishment. He's like, you guys are slowing down.
That was a good one. That's a good one. All right, I think that'll take us to our Patreon question. So this is for I can't believe I have to read his name again. It's the
You want me to do it?
Yeah, Mix, you can read his name.
So the question of the week by who is this from?
No, not the question of the week, the Patreon question.
Oh, the Patreon question. Sorry.
Difference. There's a difference, yes.
So the Patreon question from Pal Me Mauisnake is, what is our opinion on the state of the M4A1S?
Yeah, he just wanted us to talk about that and like kind of like the Deagle. People are saying the Deagle's overpowered. People are,
but like,
you know. Yeah.
One thing I will say about the M4A1S is that it has the best skins in the game. I love,
especially after the snow operation.
Yes, dude. Oh, I used the A1S just for the skins. Honestly, like it's just.
I actually switched mid Flashpoint from A4 to AS.
See, that's the thing. Like, sorry,
I mean, because I just didn't feel confident with A4 anymore. My spray just didn't go good, and I was playing like A1S like really long time. Then I switched in like midsummer back to M4 A4 for like 3 months, and now I switched back because it's just I just feel it more for me, you know. I feel it's amazing.
It's just a laser.
I feel like
when you play.
I feel like it's the eternal cycle of the A1S and A4. Like you use the A4, then your teammate switches to an A1. They drop you it for 1 round. You get like 4 kills, laser beam everyone. You're like, oh shit, I'm sick with this gun. You switch. You own for like a couple of months. Then you're like, oh. And then someone drops you an A4, and you're like, then you do the same thing.
But yeah, I think the A4 switches are more like you're trying to hold down like B on Inferno, and they're all just jumping through a smoke, and you wish you had that extra fire rate or something like that.
That's true. I actually switch up on Inferno for that matter. But for example, on Overpass, the A1S is
A1S is so good on Overpass.
I would say Overpass and Train are really good for the A1S, unless you're playing like Monster Hold or like you're playing what would the other one be?
Probably Pop
B,
Dog,
like B
maybe.
or Pop Dog. Yeah, if you're playing Pop Dog, you
want the maps with really long range angles and the ones where you tend to spam a lot through smokes is where you get like the most benefit from it, obviously. But like, I think the A1S is fine in the way it currently is. It just, to actually answer the question, that is like I think the state of it is good, but why can't Valve just make it so you can swap between games, like or swap while a match is live? It's the dumbest thing, man.
Yeah,
like it's a very situational, or not necessarily situational, but like position dependent weapon. So like not every player is going to opt to use it depending on where they play, but there's zero reason for it not to be able to be hot swapped during a game.
Yeah, and for example as well in the game, like qikert hates A1S. And before Jame always had the A1S because those $200 are actually like a big deal if you think about it. And like we had 4 A4s. Now I switched to A1S, and now not me and not Jame can drop to qikert. So it's Buster and Sanji dropping to qikert all the time, even though we have like 14k. But actually like.
Dropping.
Imagine the state of our team that we actually thought about all the positions on the maps, which players can play with the silencer and which players prefer to play on A4, and on the base we swap them between the players depending on the setups and depending on the positions.
Yeah, that incorporate the AUG into that.
It's really interesting, actually.
Yeah. For example, why I put A1S as well is because I use AUG like on Mirage a lot, on Overpass sometimes, like on Train sometimes, and I just don't feel the need for A4 anymore because I either play Silencer or play AUG.
Or AUG.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it was coming more into meta when the AUG was a little bit cheaper, where I think Kerrigan started it by running that, the AUG and A1S sort of setup. But once they increased the price, players sort of just went away from it. But now that people are using the AUG again, it might just come back into play.
What's the deal with off the cuff? What's the deal with SANJI dropping all the time? Like, I feel like it's easy to understand when you really think about it, but it's like, I think it's the funniest thing about your team that SANJI will just be running around with a deagle and because he had to drop Jamin op. Like, it shit happens so much. It's just so funny. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, fucking hell, a lot of people don't. I mean, they underestimate SANJI as a player, so they see stats. Just kick him. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just watch this. Just watch the game.
Just run around with a Mac 10. Just fucking...
check out how much like black work. Like how do you say it? Like the behind the scenes work he's doing.
Like bitch work.
And and the positions he plays allows him to get the maximum out of the MP9 or Mac 10 or a Deagle.
Yeah.
And for example on Mirage, because we are playing, because we're sometimes saving and sometimes dropping one gun to win a round, to have a chance to win a round with an idea, right? So SANJI drops a gun, and then we have a full buy round next, but SANJI plays with the Mac 10 or the Deagle, because like the overall percentage of those two rounds are a lot higher than if you just eco one round and then you play full buy next round. And because of the SANJI's position, he's the one taking those positions on almost all the maps. He's the one taking these guns. And you mentioned dropping like the op to James without armor. Everybody does it from the team. Like like on certain maps, the Stu on train, we can drop an op and play no armor, like no problem. We just do a setup where this no armor can feel comfortable in, and it doesn't matter. We're like a family, and like SANJI doesn't care about the community like talking like shit about him or something. He loves winning, and he just does everything for the win.
I mean, it also circles back, right? Because if he's saving and he's dropping an op and just going with the Deagle, the fact that James still saves that op like over and over, if you lose a round, you're still recycling it. So the value you're getting out of that is like far more. It's just multiplied based on the fact that he's willing to go with the Deagle and have an op for 3 extra rounds, maybe.
He's getting interest on his investment.
Yeah, exactly.
Back on the MSL Rogue, it was always like you just hear drop me AVP. And then, like, MSL would just trade you a UMP for the op.
That, I don't know if I agree with as much. I think James a lot better than MSL at all.
and like Kiko would get it. Because the UMP is like, cool.
Yeah. I will say one thing about when you guys played against Big on Mirage. Big was 100% targeting SANJI. They were trying to beat him at B, and then SANJI ended. I'm looking at the stats now. SANJI ended with that half, CT side, 180R, 100% KAST. Like, teams...
team was probably doing the same thing, like, pregame. They're like, dude, we're just going to go here because SANJI sucks.
They really...
sucks.
They did.
Like,
I'm sure that's their game plan.
Yeah, sure. And then they're going there, and he's just owning them the entire time. They're like, dude, what?
Yeah.
And like the point is, like, for example, like why SANJI plays with the Deagle more than, for example, me or anyone else in the team. First, his positions. The second one, his Deagle is fucking insane.
Dude, his first bullet accuracy is the best on your team. It's the best. It's like, so fast.
Like my strafing and SANJI strafing is like completely different ones.
Yeah.
And like, I consider myself a fine Deagle player. I can put up headshots and shit. But like SANJI's moving around like a frog and. And like, no, I don't know how to explain it. He's just walking around with these like mini strafes and somehow kills one and just goes back. And like, I don't know, like I do strafes pre-fires, and he just doesn't do it. He just like walks around and like taps. That's it.
I think SANJI's better than Taco, but it's kind of similar in that like anytime we would scream MIBR, Taco would just get like a 4K with a Deagle. It's just like I just didn't understand how his Deagle was just so like.
SANJI is an upgraded Taco.
He is. SANJI is literally just better Taco. He is actually. One thing I'll say is that I feel like a lot of players that get these like super bitch rolls and spots realize their first bullet accuracy just simply has to be good, or else they will never kill anybody because they have so many deagles. Dude, SANJI's pistol in this tournament was like a top 5 pistol.
Insane,
I think.
especially it was pistol round on train. Don't remember against who he hit some nutty shots from Z when it was Fnatic, I believe. He killed one electric and one old bomb side, and those shots were fucking insane. Like I didn't see because I was alive, but like after analyzing that game, just dude.
Yeah,
dude. And like the spots like for the B players, you kill the first guy and you win the round basically. If you win the duel against the first guy, if the terrorists win the duel against first guy, they're winning the round like most of the times, 90% of the times. But if CT kills the first opening fragger that actually goes with the execute and with flashes and all that, it's just so that's why he's just first bullet, as you say, accuracy has to be on point.
Yeah, I am curious about your thoughts on like targeting individual players in the way the game's currently played. Like, how does your team approach that, and what do you think about like targeting a spot or a certain player on a map?
It mostly depends on
that too much. Yeah, it kind of depends.
Yeah,
it depends on. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes it just goes together. Like we mostly watch macro game of the enemy, and if their macro game is shit, we can abuse like one like part of the map, obviously, because like
training against OG.
For example, like there was this problem Big had before on Mirage. Xantares was playing connector and Tapson was playing short before, and now they switched. But the problem with Xantares connector was like when I watched demos, he was spending a lot of time in that jungle area in front of connector, and he was so little helping on A that we won as Pro 100 against Big on Mirage. Why? Because we were just abusing Kaido on A. He was always alone. We were just going there and abusing him, and that's the macro game. And sometimes it happens like that actually like the worst player of the team is mostly alone, because people on his team are focusing more on macro on different side of the map, and that's when you can just literally like steamroll like through.
Yeah, like when I was prepping for Ents, like their Mirage, they had like a super huge focus towards A, and they were just leaving like their stand in Sadi like just alone towards B like half the time, like just jump spotting Van alone half the time, like his like closest rotate is like maybe like window, like just so like if we played like Ents on Mirage, that probably would have been the plan at least at first, or at least maybe show pressure at A first to kind of make them feel comfortable with playing him there kind of like mid half, and then just abusing that. But I never like really look for it. Usually will just kind of present itself if you're like gonna like try to abuse a site like that. Yeah. And I think the only other thing is I think it can help mid game at least to maybe like check the scoreboard sometimes and just see if like anyone you can tell is like really struggling, just you can tell just isn't feeling the map or the game at the moment. And sometimes kind of targeting that a little bit, like maybe trying to draw rotates away from that guy to target him.
Yeah, the psychology, for example, like if the person has a bad game, he's not likely to push his part of the map, and especially, on some players it doesn't work. On me, it doesn't work. I don't care. I have like -15. I'm just
some players they'll be like 3-18, and I know that guy's gonna push short every single round. It doesn't matter.
Art is same. He's just not gonna change up his game. He's just gonna play like he usually does, and like but a lot of people actually sit down on their fucking ass and. Because they're just not confident, and you feel like, okay, he probably didn't push A on Mirage. Let's go B. They're gonna be focused towards A because they don't have A information, and the B guy could have pushed, and you can catch him and get 3B side like psychology.
Okay, let's move to some news stuff. Start with something that's kind of on a down note, and we'll move up, I guess. Team Chaos does not seem to have an org, and this team just won the DreamHack Masters in North America.
I think IEM Beijing before that.
Yeah, and IEM Beijing before that to qualify for the IEM Global Challenge, but they will not be playing the IEM Global Challenge now because of health issues. I think.
Yeah, Leaf has Crohn's, so he's at major risk to travel, and then Marquis also got bronchitis, I think. So he was told by his doctor not to travel either.
Okay. There's been stuff circulating right now about where this team's going to go. I think
Team Boxer.
There's been potential that Team Boxer. There's been like I think Hex wrote one word so people thought they were going to get picked up by Optic. He literally
pretty
just
sure
wrote
he was
Optic.
just correcting the spelling of Optic.
Yeah, he literally just corrected the spelling of Optic to Moses, and then it's kind of hard to get into this without really just revealing rumors or anything like that. But I guess what would you guys hope for this team, or like what? Okay, YEKINDAR, what does it look like across the pond for you to see like an NA team like this kind of fall off?
Well, a lot of people don't understand that if an A region loses interest in the game, Europe is gonna struggle as well because of it, because we lose a lot of investment, a lot of sponsorships, and a lot of fucking people actually watching the events. A lot of like fans. We lose so much if we just lose it. So what I hope is that Chaos is gonna stick on like playing CS, and actually I don't know. I just it's really hard in the lane right now. It's just a heavy struggle. It's gonna affect CS 100% and in a bad way. But I hope at least Chaos stays, and so it's gonna be like Liquid,
EG,
and I want to say Energy, EG and Chaos.
Gen-
So at least
yeah, Chaos
3
and Gen G.
teams.
Gen G also.
Yeah.
Gen G's still there.
I think those are the main 4 teams.
I do hope most of them get to stay in CS if they don't get to stick together. It is unfortunate, like, because they've been so well. Like, they finally found their form, finally found like a solid lineup that's like really working for them. Even after like Steel went to Valorant, like having a lot of success with Fnatic, calling it opping, and that was like a big step for him, especially. So it's definitely a shame to see them just out in Oregon potentially without backing at the moment.
Yeah.
It's also not like there's a shortage of orgs in North America. There's just none of them actually want to seem to pick up a North American team. Like you have ND, you also have you also have Contact, who just announced that they're dropping their current lineup, by the way, or benching them, I guess, and looking for another roster. So like, sorry, you're gonna say something, Mix?
No, I was gonna say like it's like a combination of like, because it feels like even like when the NA scene had like 8 to 10 orgs, right? It was still like 2 or 3 that were just a level above everyone else. And so, it's like we're Liquid and EG now and Gen G. And so it feels like at the moment, getting orgs to invest below that is like near impossible. Because like, in the past, historically, teams below that are just kind of like itching, like scratching and clawing just to get a chance to like an international
and the
land.
only tournament they play is MDL, and there's even no like the thing is in Europe that tier 2 and tier 3 teams have that NA doesn't have is these 9 to 5 tournaments. These small tournaments are actually making the like CS fucking awesome in Europe, because you always got competition in every tier of the teams. You always have prize monies. Those tournaments actually get money back a lot from like people are actually watching because of betting and stuff. And a lot of those small tournaments are really good for exposing like new players, new teams, every new sponsors, everything, investments, new. They're just making the Europe like really shine in terms of like the opportunities that you have, especially for all tier of the players. And NA doesn't have that, and that's the problem. Like that's the main problem why there's Liquid, EG, and Chaos, like 3 teams, and there's nothing else.
Like the main thing that they've had is like MDL, but even that is like it's not like its own. It's not prestigious as a league like on its own. Like it's only because of the value it has associated with Pro League, and so
and especially after the scandal.
Yeah, and especially like after
match fixing, or what was it?
Yeah, like the match fixing, or like how like there's no like NA EPL anymore, or like there's very limited
the restructuring of it.
MDL, which like I understand why that happened, but also that kind of kills MDL, NA MDL as well, because it's like before, like, the only reason teams were playing this really is because, it gets you in the pro league. Like, it's not prestigious as a league as itself just to win necessarily, because, it won't necessarily get you anywhere like that. But whereas in EU, it feels like there's a lot more tier 2, tier 3 tournaments teams are playing and, like, taking seriously. Yeah. It's getting better in NA at the moment. Like, we're trying to do
the cash cups and everything.
Yeah, the cash cups and FEL stuff and all that stuff. So it's definitely getting better in that regard, but there's still a long way to go, especially now.
The Home Sweet Home Cups are, like, literally why Juan Flatro's name is just on every message board, because he just, like, owned in them every time. Even though Secret never did well, like, Juan Flatro just kept owning, and it was just, like, everybody kept talking about him. So, like, I know people in NA respect Zeppa, but I feel like he doesn't have the same, almost, like, it's almost casual. Like, even a more casual viewer in Europe now knows Juan Flatro, and, like, casual people in Europe don't really know who Zeppa is as well, even though he's way better. Like, it's just funny. It's just funny because, yeah, the tier 2 stuff gets lots of eyeballs. Like, I was watching 9 to 5 before this. I was watching Heap clutch against K23. Heap.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, I could rant about this for 10-15 minutes, the number of, like, issues that have compounded into North America suffering as a region. Like, it's not just the fact that, well, we don't have, like, betting isn't as legalized in the US as it is in Europe. So you already don't have, like, a lot of those sponsors able to come in and do tournaments. But then the organizers who can do tournaments, like ESEA and FACEIT, don't put the effort in. Like, ESEA has not changed their league structure in years. Like, they're still running 18 matches like in the group stage of the season that basically don't really matter. They, like, think about if they reduce the number of teams who compete in MDL from something like 18 to 12, and you have the top 8 make playoffs and the bottom 4 go to relegation. Now you don't have that mid-tier of teams that have nothing to play for halfway through the season.
Yeah.
You have 8 teams actually making playoffs. You have 4 teams who actually try and fight to make it out of that bottom relegation territory. Like, you have to change something here. You don't have 18 competitive teams in NAMDL either way. You also have all these players who, like, come up and they don't actually have, like, any foundation, because all of the experienced players have, like, there's no incentive for them to stay. Like, nothing's gone. Sean Garris is gone.
Yeah,
because
like
there's no org picking them up. So
what annoys me more than anything, especially, like, a lot of the people that have already gone to Valorant and then, like, talk about NACS being dead. I hate how, like, so many players and, like, people that left, or, like, just people from the scene seem to take zero accountability or responsibility for, like, the NA scene, like, the NA scene's demise and, like, how it's gone the past few months. It seems like there's, like, no personal, like, accountability, or, like, it's like they feel like they're not at fault at all personally. When it's like, obviously it's a combination of things, but, like, the fact that besides, like, the top 2-3 NA teams, teams never do anything internationally, they're just completely irrelevant in the EU. Like, that, like, part of the responsibility lies on, like, the scene itself and, like, the players and the people in it, in terms of how it's fallen by the wayside this year.
Yeah, the problem is as well, like, as Nada said, like, Sean Garris, like, Nothing Steel, Brax, a lot of content makers of CS are leaving for Valorant, and that's the like, streamers, actually, people who actually, like, upgrade their media are leaving the industry, and they're taking the people that are like, to them into another industry. So that's why it's really harsh as well, because people just are not upgrading. Like, Vanity, I love Vanity, he was doing a great job. I know he had, like, I think
He's
he
a
has
lot
YouTube
of Twitter followers.
like,
Does he have a
video.
good
He
YouTube?
always I
There you
think he has a YouTube.
he was making a
channel.
bunch of nade videos a while ago. I don't know if he's still doing them, but those were really good.
Yeah, like, always some banter in Twitter, always tweets, always trying to, like, somehow, like, talk, like do some conversations about CS, about everything, about what's happening, like, like, amazing. But, and, like, for example, imagine if Stewie, for example, leaves for Valorant. It's gonna be, like, even harsher,
Yep.
like, because first of all, Liquid is gonna be, like, in a pit,
In a
and
weird state, yeah.
and Stewie, as one of the most media guys of NA,
Yeah, biggest
is gonna-
personality.
yeah,
But I mean,
it's
like,
just,
so like, when you compare something like that, though, like, think about it. You go to Denmark and you have all of these, like, in-game leaders who have played for years, who have that experience, who can tell these players, like, hey, grow your following, like, this is what you can do. this is how you should play the game. This is the fundamentals we're trying to nail into you. Where are those players for North America? There aren't any because they've left the game, either because of Valorant or they've left the game because there is no orgs interested in picking up lower tier teams. And then none of these players have that foundation in social media or in the game. And it has to get built up when they reach that level, and they don't understand they have to do that themselves at this point.
Yeah, they don't have the advice from, like,
Exactly.
for example, Zeus like is talking a lot. He was talking a lot with me about this, like that I should try to increase my media. I'm trying to do it, but like I don't have the opportunity to stream all the time because of the tournaments, and I want to focus like a lot in my team. But on my free time, I'm trying to stream. I'm trying to showcase myself to the industry, you know, to the viewers, and that is the main mechanism that is gonna improve the whole community.
If you guys keep winning, you don't have to worry about that. People will follow you. People will 100% follow. When people win tournaments, they just get, you know, hundreds or.
I don't remember a single actual word that Zywoo has said to like.
exactly. Zywoo doesn't even need to talk anymore, and the dude just blows. He'll blow everything up.
I don't know if he actually talks or if he just plays there like silently and just as a mute.
Yeah.
Freya went up to him and said something like,
I don't know,
hey.
I don't know.
No.
That's the most famous Zywoo clip, is him not saying anything.
Yeah,
actually,
is him disagreeing and not agreeing to say anything. Yeah.
There's a certain level you can reach where you really don't need to say anything and you can just play the game. But if you're not Zywoo, I mean, like Simple has
like Zywoo, like it just makes anything you say just instantly legendary.
Yeah, Simple has a personality and he streams occasionally.
Simple has quite
and he's skilled as fuck as well. So it's like the personality is giving fucking a lot of content.
Yeah.
His individual plays are giving a lot of content, and he streams. He's the
whole package.
He's the whole package, and he's doing a lot for the CS community.
It might have been better if like 2014 Simple didn't stream, but nowadays,
he can't even be safe with that either, though. I mean, like, did you see the clip when I think it was Smooya who put it out? Because Smooya was like, "Simple, I want my spot," and Simple was like, "I don't care. You don't have team." Get
It was so good, dude. That clip was amazing.
That's funny.
But like one other thing quickly is that it's not even that you have to stream necessarily to build your brand. For a lot of these like mid-tier MDL players or like upcoming North American players, you don't even have to stream. Like you have a website like dust2.us literally churning out articles about your team, about your entire scene, and there's zero support from the majority of these players. Like shout out to Flom, shout out to like a couple of other MDL players who actually try and like actively support that content. But the number of MDL players who I have to like personally message and reach out to and be like, hey, can you do this? Can you like help promote this? Or have to at them in the tweet, and even then they'll just like the tweet.
Not even
come on, man.
These MDL players that fucking like no one knows, no one really cares about them. Like they just think they're above like this site for some reason, like or like these articles or whatever. I don't know. It's so weird, like the mentality some people have with it.
It's really strange, man.
Example, like you know, Bubsky is like he played like Nuke, of course, against Mousesports in the finals. But he was inactive for like 3 months.
Yeah.
But if you check his Twitter account, always content, always something, some ideas, some. Content, he was like, like he was lately talking about doing a tunnel. Like in Dust 2 to cross doors without. But like even these small things, they're getting conversations. They're getting people involved. They're getting people interested, and they're getting interest in him as a player. And that's the thing. You can simply tweet like some stupidest shit ever, but it's gonna give you likes. It's gonna give you the exposure, and that exposure in the end can help not only you but like the whole community.
Vanity just replays like the same like 20 tweets. Like
I saw that actually. Like that's so funny.
Anyone can do it, right?
Yeah.
Just tweet about being a virgin. That's all you need.
Get your virginity Rocksteady.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move to something also, I guess, kind of contentious. Today there was the huge debacle about CSPPA versus Blast. And then a lot of people chimed in on that. Let's try to.
You out of here, Maui. You said earlier you're like, let's start on a low note and then go higher. Let's end on a happy note.
this should be happier because I feel like we should come to some kind of agreement here. I think this is like, I think the way that this was portrayed on Twitter was like really a lot of people just shouting without actually trying to have any nuance.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of almost problematic because of how divisive it was for the scene. Like, I feel like if you guys really all had a discussion about this, people would see eye to eye a little bit more. So I guess let's hear what are some of your guys' thoughts on. So for people that aren't aware about this, if you haven't been following, it's basically CSPPA released a statement saying that they don't want to give up all the comms or have those on broadcast. Similar to how at the Fall Showdown they were basically using any comms with complete carte blanche and just like posting a whole big exec with their comms, like who's gonna flash for who. They're saying Coldzera he told his team that they didn't anti-strap for map 3, so they want to CSPPA and a few players want to roll that back. They don't want all that stuff being out on broadcast, and they also don't want, and this is important to note, that broadcast talent talk about as much as they've been talking about in regards to the comms that they're hearing. And also, apparently, from what I could gather, I don't know if you guys have more details on this, it seemed like some people are getting the comms and maybe telling people about what they're hearing in ways they shouldn't be. Like, I feel like that's a huge breach.
Yeah,
that's a huge breach.
Another problem, like in terms of this, like one, that's like a big breach in my opinion. Like, and I feel like that will certainly will happen. Like with enough people, like people are going to pass on information. But also another thing that I kind of thought about was like with how many like analysts and stuff and like desk talent and analysts and stuff that have been going like to coaching roles and stuff and into these roles, the fact that they have like access to like every team's comms. And like they have access to every team's comms, which is something that other people don't have at all. Like people like me don't have. I'm never gonna hear other teams' comms. But like the fact that like they're getting all this information, they're able to hear all this stuff that like other people are never gonna be able to hear. And like they're passing on the information, or even just learning that stuff when those people are so like sought after at the moment for coaching roles and GM roles and stuff. Like I do feel like that's almost kind of a conflict of interest in itself.
Yeah. That's the main problem actually. Like. First, they're like posting clips that they don't agree with teams, so that's one of the problems. So obviously, because you're showcasing an image of of players, 5 players and a coach, and you could be showing them in a light that they don't want to be seen, and you need to agree with players and the team and the management to actually post something like this. Otherwise, it's just how do you say it? It's just it can ruin people's careers basically.
Yeah.
And second is what CSPPA told is that a lot of people who shouldn't have access, as you said, makes that analysts, people that can further use that information, and I don't know, like nobody's selling like information obviously, but like imagine if something like that happens. It just could be happening. You don't know how far will teams go, how far will the people go, and a lot of people who shouldn't have gotten that information are getting it, and that's the problem with CSPPA sees, that first they need to like close out the circle of the management of the people who actually hear the comms and agree with the teams, and there's going to be no problem. I think there should be a middle ground where, because that's content. Obviously, that's content. People like seeing comms, like seeing banter, like seeing something.
I definitely don't think it should like just completely go away. Like I think there's like,
of course,
like, super valuable elements that you can add into like a broadcaster. Like a tweet after a game. Like showing like a highlight from like a team's comms. Like because like there's still like stuff that you can post that like isn't giving anything away, and it's like good content people will watch. Even like certain rounds overall, but at the moment, I just don't like the total just unlimited access that it feels like.
That's the main problem.
The issues I see with it is like to your first point, YEKINDAR, like if you were saying earlier about how your team like shit talks other teams just to like and all teams do it, like, well, you'll shit talk to hype your team up Like if those sort of things leak and you guys are just doing it to like get your team in the right mindset before a game, then obviously that's going to be a major detractor for your team that you don't really need.
For example, imagine lower tier organization is playing against Navi, for example. For example, us playing against Navi, right? Like I'm not saying VP is lower tier organization, but I'm telling you that Navi has a lot of more fans in CIS region and a lot more people to support them. Imagine Navi fans hearing the comms that we say that, oh, Simple having a bad game, we're laughing and shit, and then basically all the comments on that post are gonna go like, yo, you never had the like bad game or something, you fucking dog or something. Like fans are gonna start arguing, everything's gonna turn in a shit show. It's just not needed. This kind of is not needed, and you never know if it's gonna happen until you agree on some point of agreement between the org and players and the tournament organizers.
So on the note of like the CSPPA's announcement is, I think what a couple of the takes on Twitter I saw people really missing was that the organizations seemed to have an agreement with the tournament organizer, but none of the players were actually like, this was not discussed with the players beforehand. Like maybe it was in their agreement with the tournament organizer that the players read, but if you're not offered a choice to actually like release those comms or have like a proper discussion about it, then obviously it's going to be an issue for the players. Also, this is like Blast has been doing this for a little while, so I question the fact that this hasn't been like actively discussed sooner. So I can see that side of the argument.
Yeah, I do wonder if something came up.
CSPPA actually was discussing this like when we played what was it, Showdown? Fall Showdown, when we lost against Fury. It was already then we were talking about that.
Right.
It just
to be fair, they have been doing they were doing it on LAN even at the start of the year. So it's been basically an entire year of these sort of segments. So I do question the timeline in terms of like how long it's taken them to deal with it because if it was an issue. But I can also understand the fact that players need to have some input on this. There's no way that they shouldn't have like any say as to the level of comms that get released.
I think it just kind of reached a breaking point more so that it was just like at the beginning you think, okay, they did that was okay, but then they kept pushing it, and like in the last couple months, like in October or whatever, when they really released like the Cold Zera clip and the big comms for the strat, that's when it was like, okay, this needs to stop. But in the early parts of the year, it was more like, yeah, let's go. You know, like that's fine. You can.
But the thing is, like, why does it have to reach that point for this discussion to happen? Like, where are the people at Blast or at ES? Like, where are these people who have the foresight to actually think ahead and be like, this could be an issue. Let's lock it down before it happens. How is it not happening?
It's
like,
just
look at what Flashpoint did. You guys seem to have like. I know that Thorn, when he was either on here or he made a video on his channel about like being very firm with the analysts that they would be like out of the industry if they ever leaked anything and stuff like that. Like it's so crucial that you nail something like that down if you're ever going to air segments like this, that I can't believe that people at like a TO like Blast wouldn't have had the foresight to deal with it before it happened.
That's more of a ask for forgiveness, don't ask for permission kind of deal for me. I think they just push the envelope as far as they could because it makes the best content, and then when they have to retract, now they can say, "Hey, we're sorry, we didn't do it, but we didn't know." But now that we do know, they can be forgiven. But should it have ever come out? No, but they can always come back on that statement.
I feel like this is the MO whenever you're trying to deal with something that's related to the CSPPA, though, because they have been shown to be relatively toothless on a lot of really high-profile issues. Like my take on it, not that everybody really cares about my personal take, but my take, I have the floor now, is I really don't understand why the CSPPA decided it was like, or whatever the case may have been regarding the negotiations to delay the games today. But the fact that they made it happen today, when the stuff about tournament, like playing a final and then less than a day later playing another match, like that's changed to fix the scheduling so that doesn't happen again, so that Heroic doesn't get fucked over and over again. That doesn't happen until what, next year? So the idea that like, okay, they're willing to come to an agreement about that, and that doesn't have to be immediate. That doesn't have to change immediately. But the Blast stuff has to change immediately. Like that's where I don't understand. Like what is up with the sort of like difference of how they're handling the specific issues, really? I'm just looking for consistency, and I can't ever find it with this.
they find such strange hills to die on. Like, how is this the floor where they're like, we're striking for this, like, this is where we're going to end it? Whereas, like, 24 teams get cut from EPL at the start of this year, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's all good. Like, no problem. Like, 140 players losing their jobs because their organizations aren't going to sponsor them anymore. No problem, man. Let's not do anything about that. And then Chris J's coming out and he's being like, yeah, but ESL had to protect the bottom line. Like, you're this part of the CSPPA. It's not your responsibility to worry about the ESL bottom line. Like, your job is to concentrate on the players, man. So seeing that sort of stuff is just like, it's so infuriating, especially seeing the effect it's had on North America. Like, how are you not thinking about this in advance? There's no excuse in that sense.
Truly discussing players' ideologies was something I did not expect for its server time podcast, but it is you make a really good point there, because it is very it's just worrying about themselves, you know, at the end of the day, and that's I think what every party is doing. But there should just be a discussion in the near future. It should have happened a week ago, really. In the past, there should be a discussion in the past that should have happened about player comms and what is allowed, what is not allowed. And the thing with Thorin for Flashpoint is that he put it like this, that basically, if we were going to release a lot of comms, we would need an analyst in the broadcast, like the production room, and say, like, to be dedicated so that we don't, like, if the analyst thinks that that's too much info, we just shouldn't run it. And we're not going to hire another analyst to do that. Yeah. So we're going to err on the side of caution, you know? And that's probably, I mean, that's how it should have been for everybody else for Blast, but again, they're going to just push it until it reaches a breaking point, which it has.
The only other alternative I see to that is, like, if you're not going to hire an analyst to be, like, independently vetting it, which obviously is not viable for a lot of broadcasts, it's like the other option you have is to only release, at least on the live broadcast, to only release the parts where teams are, like, celebrating winning a round and they're just going, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then after the broadcast, if you want to create shoulder content, ask teams about, like, a certain round, like, hey, can we use this with this part of the game? And then have it cleared with the players and the teams. And then you can have it as shoulder content on the next broadcast. You can upload it to YouTube. Like, you can do so many other things, but you don't have to have it immediately. There's, like, so many different ways to approach it. So, yeah, I don't know.
Any final words on it? I want to move to our slightly lighter news topics.
No final words. I don't know how far I can go with actually talking about this.
All right, Mix, you got your piece out on that?
I'm good.
Okay, all right. So this is something that's a little lighter and simpler, and it's just simply, I want to actually probably do this in the future, just a recurring bit at the end, is we look at the HLTV top 30, and the biggest thing that sticks out to you, we'll just say it. Like, basically, compare your own mental power rankings with what you see on there. What team sticks out to you as, like, they're way too low or they're way too high? Like,
Cloud9 plus 207.
Yeah, well, like, okay, so do you think?
No, I'm just kidding. I had to say it just for Mix, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seeing teams like MIBR and Cloud9 jump up, like, into the top 25. It just reminds me of when Thorin was talking about, like, or I think there was just discussion in general about the rankings, like, teams being able to jump in the rankings based on their invites to certain tournaments, whereas, like, other teams are struggling just because they're not getting invited to a LAN or they're not getting invited to a certain tournament, even though they've been doing really well. That's, like, a concern for me, at least, because you have teams that are good, but they're just not getting the opportunity because they're not getting invited. So they're not going to go up in the ranking because they're not playing against those teams. And it just sort of becomes a revolving circle like that. Not to, like, I'm not saying anything about Cloud9 or MIBR. They played well in the tournaments, but, like, it's just that it is a bit of a question mark to me to see.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know what would the solution there be, though, in terms of, like, so,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, obviously sometimes, like, yeah, obviously for some teams it sucks that, like, they're not getting invites to certain tournaments, but obviously certain TOs are going to want to invite orgs like Cloud9 to their events because that gets viewers.
Yeah.
And you can't, and, like, obviously, you know, if we go into a tournament and, you know, we win matches, you know, we beat NIP, Complex, you know, we beat these teams, like, it's not like you can just not give us points because we got invited there. So I do agree that, like, it kind of sucks for some teams, like some of the tier 2 teams, some of the teams that haven't gotten a chance that are having to, like, fight through these fucking qualifiers, because I guarantee there's no way we would have, like, if we were fighting through, like, every qualifier, there's no way we would have, like, qualified for everything, because impossible in online CS.
It's just too hard.
Yeah. But yeah, that definitely sucks for some teams. But I don't really know kind of like what a solution would be.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's the solution for it either.
But like, you only need to do go through quals once, show a good result, and you're gonna be pretty much invited.
Theoretically,
that's not true though.
Because like if Cloud9 went through, let's just take Cloud9 as the example. If Cloud9 went through a qualifier for Flashpoint and Cloud9 went through a qualifier for Blast, if there were one, then let's say they make it through the Flashpoint one and come in last place, and let's say because they did, and then they go through the Blast one, but they don't qualify, then it's like they're not gonna get any more invites. So I see Note's point in this respect.
I mean that, for example, teams like that are considered lower echelon that are not getting invites, if they once go through the qualifier and show a good result, in the future they will have invites to higher competition of tournaments. While the teams, for example, Cloud9 obviously it's viewerships, it's viewership, it's hype, it's everything, right? It's good to invite. It's good for the community, good for the tournament, and the point I want to make is that at some point these top 25 to top 30 teams, they need to go through a qualifier for a big tournament to actually show themselves. They're not gonna go in tier 1 events.
Right.
So you just do it once, and in that one tournament you showcase a good result, finish like, for example, beat some team like NIP and FaZe, right? Which are in a slump right now at the moment, right? And in the end, you get exposure as an org, as a team, and in the end, it's getting invites. Maybe not on the same echelon that you qualified on, but on a higher echelon that you were playing before. So step by step, you're going upwards. But like with the teams that are showing poor result and are always invited, it was always like that, and it's not going to change, and it's going to be the same always because of the orgs and the players.
I personally don't see too much of a problem right now with the invites, because I think they are carried out by people who know what they're doing in terms of like picking the right teams more often than not. Like I actually can't even really remember many tournaments where it's like that team got invited, why? But then the only time I feel like that stuff happens is if it's like they'll be like DreamHack Open Madrid, and then they have a Spanish qualifier, and it's like, why is the Spanish team even here? But it's because they're trying to pick up the local scene for a tournament that's in a certain region. So I think
that's as well, like the regional qualifiers are the opportunity for the, as I said, 25 30 teams to actually come in to that echelon of tournaments, so it's working at this point. I think it's pretty good, because in this online era, everybody is really close up to each other, and no matter who you invite and who you don't invite, it's gonna be really close. And I don't know.
Okay, this got kind of off topic of where I was trying to steer this conversation for this, but that's okay. I want to ask the simple question: do you think Virtus.pro is a rank 11 team in the world, or do you guys think you're higher than that? Do you guys think you are the 11th best team?
It's hard to say. We need to show this result on distance, so I can't say that. Okay, we won, for example, like we won big OG and Fnatic, right? Like from the big names in Flashpoint.
Yeah.
5, 6, and 13, right? But you can't put us in above big, for example, or instead of big, because big was showcasing a great result throughout the year.
Yeah.
While we are showcasing the result only for like 2 months, right? We won the New York, and
you beat Navi though also recently, and they're 4th. So you beat the 4th, 5th, and 6th best teams in the world.
Yeah,
now.
but I think we just continue grinding and continue playing this out for like 3 more 4 months, and objectively speaking, we could be top 5 and nobody would say a word.
Okay, all right, that's kind of what I had to ask. I have one more talent question from Potter before we move to the question of the week. Potter's question, and it's multi-parts depending on how you answer the first, is Potter wants to know, do you have any pets?
Yeah, I have 2 dogs and 1 cat.
Okay, well now Potter's question, second part, is if you have a dog, could it beat up Device's dog?
Device has like this small chihuahua, yeah? Or not chihuahua, but it's like furry small dog,
It's a
yeah?
tiny dog, yeah.
It's a pretty
Yeah.
small dog, yeah.
Yo, my dogs are fucking aggressive. Yo, when I go out with them, they want beef. I'm telling you, they are girls as well. So I mean, and girls fight a lot.
Dude,
Uh-huh.
yeah, they fight so much. Holy shit, girl
Yeah,
dogs.
and
So
I
you're
think it's
telling me
if it's 2 versus 1, two of my babies against Device's dog, no chance for Device's dog. But 1 versus 1, I don't know. Maybe if the mom, then yeah.
YEKINDAR goes into VP and he's already saying no chance, my friend. The
Wait,
Vice dogs, they have no chance, my friend.
Actually, mix in. No, do you guys have pets?
No, I don't.
Not currently. I want a cat though. I'm getting one soon.
Oh, okay. All right, I don't have any pets. All right,
bunch of
let's move
noobs
on.
over here. Can't believe YEKINDAR and I are the only ones with pets.
Yeah.
Panogo, what pets you have?
I've got a big ass dog that is dumb as a brick, and I got a cat who's as fat as a sack of potatoes.
So
my
it could
pets.
beat up Device's dog. You're saying?
My
The
dog
cat.
would probably just sniff the other dog and then, like,
Wouldn't bother.
yeah. I mean, like, my cat beats him up, so he's
Oh.
big, but he sucks. He's noob.
He's
dog.
weak.
Yeah.
Okay, he's just a sack. Okay, the question of the week is, what are the hardest aspects of maintenance for a team that's been together? And I wrote over 8 months. So basically, like, after you get over what I would call the honeymoon phase of a team, and even into like the stretch of just like consistency, what is it kind of like towards the tail end that you feel like gets the most difficult at that point?
Well, I would say that it depends on how much actually you got involved in getting your game better. So if you actually focused and thought about CS like all these days, 24/7, and trying to improve, trying to do, the results will come if you're like a talented team, obviously, right? And if the results are coming, it's gonna be good even after 8 months and like more and more and more, and it's not gonna stop until you hit that part of the time where you're starting winning tournaments, you start practicing less, doing less improvement of your team play. Meta is starting like switching up. People watch your demos to actually steal things from you, know you from inside out. They start raping you. Then you go in a slump, and then you don't know what to do. And then you're just first of all, you're like playing 8 months without a break, and then at the 8th month you're starting getting like destroyed on tournaments because everybody knows how you play, and it's like 2 paths from that side. Either you work as hard as you worked at the start and improve as a team and move forward, and one thing as well is really important is obviously vacations, like getting the free time to actually like clear your head. And second path is just raging on how online CS is bad, and if it was LAN, would be a lot better. And just
So the DAPS path.
like I don't know.
The what path? The DAPS
DAPS
path?
path,
DAPS
yeah.
path?
That's
Oh,
what he was doing this year.
okay.
So like,
yeah.
so either you stay with the rhythm and improve, or you're gonna fall down eventually in the end. So you always need to work. You always need to improve, and that's the main point of how you don't go. What was the problem with Avangar, for example? After what I didn't say is like if you get changes into the team, new players, and you fix everything, that's gonna get even worse. A lot of more even work you need to do that you not doing because you thought like, oh, yo, Sanji, you're not killing, you're kicked, and then you take one more player, but you're not working. You're not doing the same rhythm at the start, and you're like
Mhm.
just. So it's like the third path, and like you need to just focus on the rhythm. Just do improvements all over. Analyze all your games. Always improve individually as a team. Live like a family, and yeah, you're just not gonna fall off after that, I believe.
You can also,
yeah,
I was gonna say one thing that can be tough is like once you get to that point, like 8 months or so, is like you need like the individuals of the team to be like open to like changing certain things, like changing maybe certain spots to try to change things around, changing certain roles. And if you have players that are like, no, like this is like my best role and like this is like what I should be doing, and so like people just want everything to stay the same, it's like nothing's actually gonna like fundamentally change, because it's like if you keep everything the same like that, like especially like 8 months into a team, like you're like no one wants to really change their roles or anything, even if you're like sorry, you're really trying to like add new things, or you're like trying to like expand your playbook or something. Like I still feel like fundamentally you're often still gonna be playing like kind of similar. Like so like unless you're like you need to have players that are like open to like kind of fundamentally changing some things, and
you know why that's happening? Because at the point where teams start winning, they start believing in their style, and they start believing in their roles and their comfort in their roles.
And and they think that's like the only thing that can make
do. And that's already the personalities of the players. That who's open to criticism. Then like I know a lot of players that just don't take criticism. They're like, yo, no, I'm gonna play this spot. It's all good. It's all good. If you didn't die on eco there, it would be fine. Yeah, but like in the macro of the game, you lost the game though. Like, okay, I lost that round, but in the macro, you lost that game. But like a lot of people are just not open-minded in that kind of perspective. That's why a lot of teams fall down after that period of time. And Nick said, right, you need to change things. You need to switch up the meta or go with the meta.
It's kind of interesting because this whole like 6-player thing that's coming in is also allowing some teams to swap that up rather than like swapping positions in the server for their players. They have another player just come in and take over an entire area, or like take over a position, and they can change the little macro bits that they do individually as well.
That's really true. I think 6-player is now like really helping a lot on refreshing the stance of the team and the team's gameplay, and like one more head to think with your 5 heads, with your 6 with the coach, like 7 heads. Imagine 7 heads thinking about how to improve your game. It's just so much.
I was gonna add, like, in addition to like, even if you have players that like, if you like say like you kind of like hit a slump for like month 7 or 8, even if like on certain maps you like trying to like change roles for a bit, like you have someone different lurking, or like you have someone different playing different certain CT spots, if you just like even like change that, and you like at least try to commit to it for like a week or 2, or at least longer, you like try to get actually practice with that for a bit, even if like it doesn't work out and you like go back to like what you had before, that's still like completely, that still can like kind of change your mindset on things. And, like, it can give you like a total refresher. Yeah,
it's like you remember the time where Dupree was main opping for Astralis? So like why did they do that? Because that's just why the fuck not?
Like just calling for a bit. Even when Glaive was back on the team, they took a while to reintegrate Glaive as the caller. So
exactly, imagine they never had Magic calling, and Glaive was already calling. But now imagine Glaive seeing the calls that Magic can see the difference between 2 players calling. The team improves. The 2 in-game leaders improve.
Right.
And
this is something I even remember Fnatic doing like in 2015, back when they were in between the 2 major ones. There was a bit where Pronax actually wasn't calling and Flusha was actually calling for like a couple tournaments or so. Kind of like in between their major ones, I'm pretty sure, because Pronax was just kind of like worn out or tired, and so.
And just VP, or the old Virtus.pro, the Polish VP, they just swapped everything all the time. Like they were
just all the time,
Dude, they would play the same one map, and like they play like 3 completely different CT setups in the same map because they could. I noticed sometimes it would just
go from like main opping to playing like the main B anchor spot. Just like when you change these up, it's like, all right,
I thought it was like, I remember watching a game on Train where it's like, you know how Taz was famous for playing B? It's like they just sometimes took him out of that spot, and I was like, okay, this is just, you guys are just doing everything now, aren't you? Like you really can just do anything you feel like.
A month or two, and then like you put him back there in like 3 months, you're like, dude, this guy's insane out of there. And
exactly.
Just holding every site.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's gonna be the conclusion. YEKINDAR, do you have anything you wanna shout out here?
Shout out to Flashpoint for a great tournament, and shout out to all the fans for supporting us at this tournament. And yeah, thank you for having me here.
Cool. I can't believe you just shouted me out as your fan. That's sweet. Mix, you got anything?
Shout out to Floppy.
Sweet.
Just Floppy.
Yo,
no one else.
Ricky, what's up?
He probably won't even watch this, but I'm just gonna shout him out anyways.
Okay, note.
Follow me on Twitter. That's about it. Nothing else to shout out right now.
Pronogo, our producer, what do you got to shout out?
Shout out Devices Dog.
I'll shout out a couple things. One is just, of course, we have the Patreon still. I'm going to restructure the Patreon rewards because I feel like they're really weird and boring. So I'm going to get on that tonight before this podcast is released. So I'm going to restructure that. It'll look better. I'm also going to shout out the person who's doing the artwork because I'm getting a custom thumbnail and Twitter picture for this episode. So follow her on her Instagram, which will be in the description of this. That is Marissa. And shout out to Potter, Hawka, Anders, and Bardolph for coming up with questions for YEKINDAR. Thanks, guys. And shout out to
just search up Marissa on Instagram.
No. It's gonna be that's just her name, and like she's gonna have her Instagram is in the description of this video. It'll be in the description of the video if you guys like her artwork. Because she does the artwork for the It's Server Time thing as well. So check her out. And that's it. Thanks for coming on again, YEKINDAR. You were first repeat guest, and you're our best repeat guest. So thank you so much for dropping.
You're also our worst repeat guest. Just saying.
Wow. Why?
Yo, Mix.
Kind of talk. He's gonna send his dogs after you next one.
He's gonna get.
Fuck. I'm saying this.
All right.